Hey, everybody, this is Salty Texas C. Today I have with me OBG70, and
Hello.
this guy. This guy is awesome. If you haven't checked out his channel, it is OBG70. He does his own Wheel of Time coverage, and he actually parses things down to a level that if you are a fan of the deep lore, this is your guy. I just want to say that. So how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing very well. It's
Uh,
it's actually a really nice day, but we have really
that's
bad
awesome.
weather coming.
Oh,
So
I'm sorry.
hanging in there.
Yeah. I'm here in Texas, and yesterday it was almost 90, but today it was 30. And welcome to Texas in the
Yeah,
wintertime.
I'm in here in Southern California and looking forward to being a Texas citizen someday.
Oh boy, I know you and Nerdrotic and
Yeah, he's heading out.
what was it? Ryan Cannell already split for Florida. So,
Yep.
all right, that's not what we're here to talk about. We
Yep.
are here. We are here to talk about something that you found related to reception of Wheel of Time at what we could call mid-season for Amazon. Do you want to share that, sir?
Sure. Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
So I was perusing Twitter.
God,
I know
I'm
that's a
sorry.
horrible thing. Yeah, I know it's
Uh,
horrible. And when doing that, I found a screenshot of a thumbnail here. This is from Screenrant. Wheel Time is not doing the numbers that we expected, but that is the idea. And this reminded me, of course, of the talk about the Eternals, and I think it was the Eternals that they were saying, yeah, we know it's bad, but it's supposed to be. And then the first comment down here is what's with this trend saying, yeah, we didn't actually want people to like it. Is this some weird psychology or just pure cope? I can't tell. That was the very first response over here on 4chan, I guess is where they got this.
Oh my God.
What was interesting is I went looking for this specific article and couldn't actually find it on Screen Rant. So
When
I did
was
some
it?
searching.
When was it posted? Was this something recent?
It looks recent.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the image here has a date of yesterday, and then
Okay.
I'm seeing a post. The first post is also 12/10/21 Friday.
Okay. So this is not something from a couple months ago,
Yeah,
or the
it
first
seems to be.
episode. This
Sure.
is at the penultimate sixth, or yeah, this has to be episode 5 at the latest, episode 6. Reasonably,
Sure.
right?
The only thing that I would say it kind of throws me off is that it does say it's by Brennan Klein, published 2 days ago, but then that would obviously not be the 10th.
Friday,
It would be
yeah.
it'd be like earlier than that. So maybe it was Thursday or so. I don't know.
So it's probably talking about episode 5. Is that that's kind of where we're at?
Yeah, without facts to back it up, I have to just assume that. So I
Okay.
don't know.
I'm going to assume that too, and I'm going to call it gospel because it's my show and whatever. So
I even tried to search it by this name up here. You can see where it says Home TV News, Wheel of Time, not doing the and then if I just put the rest of it into Google, it was not coming up.
well,
So almost like I wonder if they were instructed to delete it off of Screen Rant. I don't know.
Well, I certainly hope there hasn't been some untoward disappearance of someone being critical of Amazon's $10 million an episode wannabe.
$10 million. Where does that money go? I don't know.
Here's the thing. Some of the things in my my reviews that I put out, there's a lot that ends up on the cutting room floor.
Mhm,
And,
yes,
and a lot of bourbon that is drank while it has copium with this. But in my last review, part 2 for episode 5, I actually went through and compared the numbers of Amazon's Wheel of Time, Game of Thrones, and Witcher season 1, all 3 seasons. And have you looked at that data?
No, I have not. You have it?
Well, here, I don't have it up. You're just going to have to trust me. I'm going to incorporate this probably in my episode 6 review.
Okay.
So what it boils down to is this: Game of Thrones is the air quotes gold standard. Well, it was, I guess, for a while. The first 3 seasons. What counts is what did HBO pay for Game of Thrones season 1, and it works out to about $5.5 million per an episode. Now we have to adjust things for inflation because let's go Brandon. But here's the thing: even considering that amount of time, Amazon paid $10 million an episode in 2020 per an episode for their first season. So you can't tell me production costs doubled to a point where it cost $10 million. if we look at the quality of images in Game of Thrones season 1 and compare it to what we're seeing in season 1 for Wheel of Time, what do you think, OBG70? What is your feeling with what you saw?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the Game of Thrones, as I mentioned in one of my reviews, is that it became the water cooler show for sure, and that's really what Amazon was trying to get out of this show, was a water cooler show. They wanted everybody talking about it, and they spent money for that purpose. They really wanted to bring in subscribers to Amazon Prime. So, yeah, you want that show. You want it to be part of daily dialogue. You want to go to your friends, talk about, hey, everybody, winter's coming. You want to joke around, stuff like that. It's fun. But I watched Game of Thrones. I watched the first season. I actually started watching it again because I was curious about the compare and contrast between Wheel of Time and them. And it's just everything about it is higher quality.
With Game of Thrones.
From Game of Thrones. Yeah. Absolutely. The acting is, I don't know, order of magnitude better. The set design, the costumes, the cinematography, the music. I mean, you can think right now, if I said, okay, quick, hum Game of Thrones music.
Oh,
you would know the intro song right now.
Oh,
now do the same for Wheel of Time. It's like, it's forgettable.
Right.
And it's like every aspect of Game of Thrones is an order of magnitude better, or two orders. It's just amazing. And of course, up till season 6, right? So we can agree that it kind of goes downhill after that.
Right.
So, yeah. And isn't the budget like half of Wheel of Time? Wasn't it like $6 million an episode or something?
Yeah. So, and here's the thing. People can say, well, that was how many years ago? I mean, but again, a budget for a production of a first season of a show does not just double in the amount of time that has elapsed since Game of Thrones season 1 and Wheel of Time season 1. I get tired of this argument that, well, there's the coof, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, sure, right.
But if you're making TV shows that cost nearly twice as much as what they did, say, 10 years ago, and the quality resembles, say, well, what would be fair? Half of what the quality of Game of Thrones was? Okay, let's be generous. Let's say 75% of the production quality of Game of Thrones.
That is generous, but yeah, I'll give you that.
What I don't want to do is get I'm going to make a video on some of the remarkable comments and things people have called me, but I guess I'm trying to avoid that, but I will monetize their hate. But where I'm going with all that is let's give them the benefit of the doubt here. Let's say that it cost that much more. The problem is the story. And episode 1 had some pretty high production values. Now, did they blow it all in episode 1 to draw people in? It kind of looks that way. I mean, do you see any CGI occurring other than in episode 4? Do we see anything in 5 that looks CGI at all?
I would say other than just, background sets and stuff. I mean, a lot of green screen stuff going on, of course, but I mean, not really.
Yeah. And I talk about it in my episode 5 part 2 review, that scene when Perrin and Egwene, after Egwene rescues herself and has time to rescue Perrin too, she stabs Abdul Salis, and then they run out and we see this ridiculous cartoon fourth-rate wolf attack in the Children of the Light camp. Now, first of all, there's no Children of the Light army. There's no horses. There's no officers. There's no grandeur to this camp. And then there's like 3 or 4 Siberian Huskies getting thrown around with shaky camera. And it's like that's how you're going to introduce Perrin's affinity to the wolves. I mean, dude,
missed opportunities.
Dude, add it to the list. Seriously. And but I mean, what struck you in where we are? And I know you've seen 6. I am going to see 6.
Yeah, I'll leave 6. I'll leave episode 6 out of this completely until you watch it. Look, I think the thing that bothers me the most about all this, I can forgive so many things. I can forgive bad acting. I can forgive bad sets. I mean, I like Legend of the Seeker, for God's sake. I think that's a great show.
I'm not judging. I won't judge you.
Okay, so it's really for the attributes that they have there. But anyways, look, it's the storytelling. It's how it it's like rapid shot. It's like scene cut, scene cut, scene cut, scene cut, with nothing connecting it together. There's no flow to the story at all.
Yep.
It's just scattershot, and I don't know. That's to me the biggest gripe so far. And then just changing literally every single aspect of Robert Jordan's fantasy series. I'm looking for anything they do the same, because as a book reader, isn't it what you want to do is you want to relive key moments in live action? So that's really what bothers me the most, is I look forward to a specific scene and it just doesn't happen.
You know, as you've been talking, I've been thinking about, let's say that you went to Las Vegas to go see an Elvis impersonator, and you paid your money, and there was a poster that had Elvis, you know, whether you like the young one or the, you know, chunky style, you know, big sideburns, you know, late career one. And then you go, you sit down, somebody starts playing Elvis music, and who comes out but Frankenstein, you know, in drag,
or worse, Justin Bieber,
who wants to tell you their pronouns and their political affiliations, and instead of singing a song that Elvis would do, they start singing bad protest songs, and while that is occurring, encourage you to follow them on Twitter. That's kind of what Game of Thrones to me has been. Is we thought, based on the marketing materials, that this was going to be an adaptation of the Eye of the World. I mean, who didn't think we were going to get that in season 1?
I had my misgivings because my wife and I are big fans of Survivor.
Oh God!
And we remember Rafe Judkins from Survivor Guatemala.
Tell me more, because more.
Yeah, but he just goes on and on about what a great survivor he is and how outdoorsy he is. And I guess he does run some sort of an outdoor survival camp or something, or outdoor activities thing. So perhaps, you know, but he just whined the entire time, cried constantly on the show, and he was just irritating. This is before I even knew who he was. You know, he was just some random contestant. And when I found out that he was given the lead of show running of Wheel of Time, well, I knew immediately at that point there was just no way that this was going to be any good.
Yeah,
like I knew that his activism was going to change the Wheel of Time. And at that point, I actually, you know, we talked about this. I actually had intended to have an after show live stream to cover Wheel of Time, not the books, but just the show. And every time an episode would air, I would have kind of my, you know, the Talking Dead version of the Wheel of Time, where I would just go over the episode, you know, maybe have some chat going on and answer some questions and talk about, you know, oh, this is like this, and not give spoilers away, that kind of a thing. But after finding out he was a showrunner, I was like, oh, I was so depressed, but I still thought maybe, right? And then when we see the initial cast, you know, the Edmonds Field 5, and I started researching them.
Oh yeah. And
I started looking at their social media, and I saw what kind of activists they were. And I was just like, okay, yeah, there's no hope.
Yeah.
There just isn't any hope. So, you know, it's kind of like what Az from Heel versus Babyface is doing with what Batwoman or whatever. He goes into the trenches there, and he, you know, fights the good fight.
As deserves canonization. He is truly the saint of Yorkshire. We talked about it before the stream, but I made a video, oh Lord, probably 9 months ago now, where I started to cover the early things that were creeping out from the media about the casting. And this video, I posted it a long time ago, and it was a rambling 30-minute thing that I'm going to leave up, because I want that to be a teachable moment for myself as to how I should make better videos. In that video, I talked about exactly what you just said. The casting changes. We looked at each character, especially the boys from Emmons Field, because why wouldn't you? Because the dragon can only be a man. And now here we are. And we have been told over and over and over again that the Dragon Reborn not only can be a man or a woman, but past dragons have been both men and women, which again, it breaks the fundamental canon, and not in some uber geek way, but it's literally like, you remember in Battlestar Galactica when the Galactic did its final jump, and it literally, the spine of the ship just broke. And I think his XO said, she broke her back, she'll never jump again. Wherever we ended up is where we're going to stay. That is what they did by changing making this thing loosey goosey. You can be whatever gender you want, Dragon Reborn. I mean, am I wrong in that? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, once you start going down that road, I kind of understand what they're trying to do. They're really trying to appeal to the new audience, the people who have never read the books, and they want there to be some sense of, curiosity and wonder. Who's going to be the dragon? What is the dragon? But the thing is, they're also supplementing all this material with offline content, or not. Well, not what I mean is off the show content. You go on, click on here to learn more about this. Click on this to learn more about this. And they're giving you that information anyway. So it isn't as if, they needed to do this, because if they're going to go ahead and tell you things anyways, I don't know. But yeah, the idea of the female dragon, it would be fine if Robert Jordan had at least one time had dropped a little bit of knowledge and said, yeah, occasionally the dragon can be female, something like that. It's like, but he says no. He flat out said it's always a male. And so when you start introducing this idea that the dragon can be female, it's like, honestly, it doesn't really make a difference, but you have to have a character to be the dragon. And when you have the story arc of Egwene, you have the story arc of Nynaeve, you have the story arc of Matt and Piran, and they have their own journey. And they're all amazing journeys. Like, my favorite character to read about was Egwene. And my second favorite was probably Matt. But I mean, Egwene was always my favorite. And her journey, like, I could accept so much that they could do with her, because she's an amazing character in Robert Jordan's world. So yeah, I mean, you could do something with a female dragon, but who is it going to be?
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to disagree with you strenuously, but I still respect you. And,
all right, go for it.
And here's why. I keep going back to the taint that is within the power for male channelers. And, and the fundamental struggle through the books to remove, and a spoiler alert, to remove that taint in order to make it more balanced, where not just women can safely channel. And again, this is my opinion. Those people who don't agree with this, please leave some comments to this live stream. And by the way, we are planning on live streaming in the real in the future. But where I'm going with that is that he very clearly, when he talks about Lews Therin, the dialogue that we have from Lanfear, from others, where they go, it to me, and my interpretation of this is that absolutely only a man can be the dragon. Now, you can have somebody like Bridget. You can have all of the people within the Forsaken. Now, they had the genders, because this is a binary universe with male and female, much like in nature. But where they go with all this is that they can be strong, evil, manipulative, brilliant, and the fact that they're a female or a male is simply secondary. This show, what we're getting from Amazon is just like the Force is female, like Star Trek Discovery, like Doctor Who, like Terminator Derp Fate, like Ghostbusters, what the hell is it, 2017, 2016, whatever horrible thing that was.
I pass on that.
Well, I did too. But it's identity politics, and it's literally, we have a story, we're going to use this story as a platform for insert whatever cause du jour.
Sure. Yeah.
And we all know what happened last year when there were mostly peaceful protests that resulted in billions of dollars of damage. And suddenly that was invoked for a while. And we got that on Disney Plus. We got that messaging from Falcon and Winter Soldier. So now here we are in Amazon's Wheel of Time. To me, it started in episode 3, where it just went off it went off the rails.
Yeah.
And the social messaging and the identity politics. And as I mentioned in my episode 5 part 2 review, now the neo-Marxism is getting dropped in this. Just there we are.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really a shame, because I think initially Rafe Judkins really had not intended to go this far. And I think what he did was he was encouraged by Amazon Studios, who does have their own, inclusion and diversity guidelines and playbook. And so I think that he was just basically given free reign. And so he was, who do I hire for this? Who do I put in charge of that? And I think he just kind of filled up the entire production team with people that wanted to tell their own, agenda.
He made it Marvel Comics. He made it Marvel Comics, essentially.
Yeah.
Do you think that what we're seeing on screen in the messaging, it came from Amazon Studios, or it came?
No, I think it's supported.
Judkins. Okay.
I think it's supported by Amazon. Like they encourage it. They're happy with it. I think Rafe initially started it, but I really honestly I don't want to give him too much crap. I think that he initially started with the right idea, but I do think that he just surrounded himself. He just went completely as diverse and inclusive as he possibly could, and that he just was flooded with all these ideas and perhaps was pressured by some of them. And so he was just like, okay, that sounds good. We should do that.
Okay.
But he was also going along with it. Like as a showrunner, he could say like, no, this is not what we're going to do. Calm down. Stop doing this. But yeah, no, I think that it is his obviously responsibility. I think he is at fault. I just think that there was nobody there to tell him like, you've gone too far. Like you need to roll this back, because what you got to understand is the people that are the most vocal in support of the Wheel of Time TV show are the people that, as I said in my last review, are on that team.
Oh yeah.
So they're, you just look at all the posts on Twitter that say, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm so happy about this scene. This is such great acting. And you just read all the responses and they just love it. They think it's the greatest thing ever because of that. But who is the other, I don't know, like 80%? Like who is the demographic that loves fantasy, science fiction, comic books, Dungeons and Dragons, all these things, role-playing games? Who are these people?
I know. Let me go back to something you just said.
Yeah.
Where much like we saw with Doctor Who, when the first female doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Doctor Who, and I'm going to give Nerdrotic credit for that. This is the same thing we saw there, where people were celebrating the fact that they were being represented.
Yes.
Their values were being represented on screen.
Yes.
You're saying that you're seeing that on Twitter, because one thing I don't do, and this is full disclosure, is I don't watch other people's review videos until mine are like I have made them public. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Number one is I want that to actually be for me. I never would plagiarize from anyone at all. But I haven't seen if anybody has covered this. It's that whole bandwagon thing. I know in my comments, starting at about episode 3, I started to see that. I started to see people who I got called ist, phobe.
Yeah, sure.
Just this morning, I was called an incel, misogynist.
Well, I'm finding it just by going into Twitter and just typing in search Wheel of Time and looking at people's posts and then what's underneath there. And I am finding quite a few responses by people talking about, basically celebrating the diversity in the show and saying that that's a primary reason why they watch it. They think it's the greatest thing ever. And it's fine. Okay, so my point of view is this. There are television shows that I have watched in the past that I have really loved, that I would consider to be woke. I would consider to be quite progressive.
Give me an example. Give me an example.
Sense8.
Okay.
Love that show. Legion, the FX Legion, whatever. Love that show.
Yep.
My point is that I can see the politics. I can see the agenda. I can see, the social engineering that they're trying to, indoctrinate me with. But nonetheless, I love these shows. I think they are really well done. And I think that the writing is great and all the things. So yeah.
Why do you love them? Because
overall quality, honestly. I have to be honest. It's the overall quality of the production. It's the acting's great. The story is great. All the CGI is great. The characters are well acted, and if not phenomenally acted. I mean, with Legion especially. Yeah. There's nothing. I love every aspect of Legion. But yeah, I think that entire series. And my daughter and I, she's 16, and every once in a while she'll come down and say, "Hey, you want to watch all the way through Legion with me again?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, let's watch it."
That's outstanding. Well, sharing that with your kids is
that's
remarkable, dude.
So just it doesn't matter the message so much as unless it's really, really over the top. And I feel that Wheel of Time is really, really over the top. But there's nothing backing it up. There's no other reason for me to watch. Like there's the characters I don't like. I really detest some of them.
Oh God, yeah.
And
They're
the story-
unrecognizable. It's not only that, but I did reading a review from Variety before the show came out, and actually quoted what Variety had said. And I remember there were some terms that stuck in my brain even after all this time. One of them was that Rafe Judkins had written the show into a variety of narrative morasses. Gosh, episode 3, episode 4, now episode 5. Not only is there, I mean, the action that's on screen is, let's be honest, subpar, but in episode 5, what are we doing? I mean, literally, how does this move the story forward? I mean, why you talked about why you liked the shows that you did. You liked the characters, you liked the CGI and effects, you liked the way it looked visually. In the case that we have here, I guess.
Oh, the story though. The story I liked a lot too. Just the whole idea behind, some of these plot elements. But like Wheel of Time, they're adding parts into it that weren't in the books, of course, and that's to be expected. But what they're doing is they're telling little things, like they're having ceremonies about everything. It seems like ceremonies is their favorite thing. And instead of ceremonies, what they could have been doing is actually, telling a story. And they could have been doing character development. And you could have had, like, why is a relationship between A and B important later on? And they're not. Instead, they have people standing around doing funerals, lighting candles, braiding hair. I mean, it's to put a stopwatch on all of these ceremonies. Think of what you could have done even in episode 1. You could have.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I just don't.
I actually said almost that verbatim thing in my episode 5 part 2 review, where there was a scene where Lan and Moiraine are in a room, and Lan goes to his knees, and they have a conversation about a character who didn't appear in the books based on a storyline that didn't appear in the books, having a relationship between themselves that didn't occur in the books, and then proceeding to talk about something they're going to do which wasn't in the books. And why is this on screen? And then does it move the narrative forward? Was there not an adult in this writing room for Amazon? And I'm coming from the perspective who's only seen episode 5.
Yeah.
That to go, hey, guys, we need to have a chart over time that shows something called character development.
Yeah.
Where was the character
relationship building?
Well,
chemistry. Cast chemistry is gone.
I mean, you have Perrin and Egwene, who kind of look like they're foster siblings who got left at a truck stop and are now having to walk back. And it's like, Egwene in the books.
Can I interrupt you with like the most important part of this entire show so far?
Go.
Where's Bella?
God, people don't even know what you're talking about. Where's the braid tugs? Where's Blood and Ashes? I mean, where's all of these things that were part of the charm? But you're right. Where is Bella? Wait.
That running joke that the Bella's the creator.
I know.
Because Bella's always there. And it's always with Egwene the entire series.
Yes. I got one better for you.
And for you guys to know who Bella is the horse that Rand had at the very beginning.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's basically immortal. So
yeah. Bella was there. Okay, I don't want to spoil.
I know. Yeah. This is why I try to be careful, and because I really encourage people to go out and get. You
got to read the book. The books are just so much better than this.
Now
there is a lot of rambling in the books. That's true, and there's a lot of purple prose, which is the over description of every single scene.
Yep.
Yes, 100%. And by the time you've read through the entire series, multiple times, you learn to skim.
Yeah,
that's a thing you do.
Yeah,
but yeah, the story is remarkable. That's why it's so loved. That's why it's so grand. But yeah.
I mean, the first book was written in 1991, but it for its time, it was a break from what we would call the more lockstep fantasy genre.
Okay, now I'm gonna add a little point to that because so let me first start I'll tell you guys how I learned about Wheel of Time and Eye of the World specifically. I was a Conan fan, as you could tell from my icon there.
Yeah,
love Conan.
Yep.
Robert E. Howard devoured everything, all his Savage Tales and everything. I have all the comic books. I love Conan, And then I started reading the Conan books that were not written by him, but were written by random people. And one of those random people was a guy named Robert Jordan.
Yep.
And he wrote 3 of them, I believe. And I do have all 3 of them. And I ran into the bookstore one day, coming back from college, on the way to work, ran through there really quick. I need the next Conan book. Anything by Robert Jordan would be great. And they said, he's not writing them anymore. Instead, he's writing this. And I was so disappointed. I cannot believe that he stopped writing Conan for this Eye of the World nonsense. What the hell is this, right? So I started reading it. And by the time I got to the end, I had two thoughts. One, I thought it was very well written, very, very much above what I'm usually reading. And number 2, that he deliberately stole the entire story from David Eddings' Pawn of Prophecy.
Thank you very much. I'm actually looking at that book, several of those books, right on my bookshelf.
And I was like, you got to be kidding me. The farm boy, savior of the world,
yep.
With a whole group of people that have all different abilities, and they go off. And I had just finished all of the David Eddings books. And this is the Belgariad and the Milarion or whatever it is.
Yep.
And I like he ripped David Eddings. I was so angry. But then I go, but you know what? Even if that's the case, it is so much better written. The characters are so much more enjoyable. I'm like, okay, I'll just keep reading anyway. And so then when he released The Great Hunt, I of course was first in line to get it.
Yep.
Devoured it. Great Hunt, still my favorite book of all time.
It is great. It is.
I just love it. The pacing is just perfect.
It just goes. It just goes. It takes those characters, and because you're wondering, okay, whatever. Why is this stuff happening? Especially those secondary characters like Min. What it does, it's and that's something I brought up. I mean, for where first of all, we're not in Tarval in episode 5. We're in Camelin.
Yeah.
And we missed the whole story arc of, obviously Rand meeting Elaine falling in love.
So disappointed.
Talk about missing scenes. I mean, like we should do a live stream and just talk about what are our top 3 or 4 things that we're missing so far in the
that'd be one of them.
For me too.
Rand falling off the wall, hitting his head. That's absolutely my number 1.
And I only glanced over her brother and half brother, Galad and Gawain. I mean, people are going to bust me on that.
No, I think you're right.
The other thing is we don't have Queen. Where the hell is Queen Morghese? Kind of important, especially
Elena, that scene in the throne room, she gets up and there's going to be whatever it is in the world, chaos, destruction, whatever it is in the world, and this man's at the center of it. Yeah. And then I'm like, holy shit! Like, what are they going to do to him?
I know.
Throw him in prison right now, right?
I mean, and it shows the Reds they have a point, but they're also maniacs. They're also absolutists who believe that the ends truly does justify the means. Yeah. I mean, obviously we can't in our current socioeconomic political environment show people who are absolutists and willing to do whatever to have the ends just the mean. The end justify the means being vilified. That's problematic in today's thinking.
Yes, my favorite term for this. Yep, problematic. There's so many problematic things coming up. Yeah. That you just go, how are they going to write that scene? Yeah. How are they going to do that?
They're not.
They're going to delete it. Yeah, they're not.
That's why episode 4 again. Karine, what the hell was Alana and Karine doing with the Reds? Capturing Logain, sitting there in the women's studies coven in the cave.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that actor playing Elena, though? Do you find her okay? Are you on board with her?
This is the problem that I have: is the way that they have destroyed the book connection, and not even like in a Star Trek disgracery 25% different crap ship. We're talking about a completely different take on this character. Yes. So, would she have been great appearing in the Great Hunt storyline? Yes. Why not? Yeah. I like what she does. She kind of has the personality that I would expect from her. Yeah. But because Rafe Judkins turned episode 4 into the downtown Portland Women's Studies bookstore collective, it's really hard to care about with the character they're making. And I mean, it goes back to what you were talking about. Whoever was behind this agenda push, there's more platform to Wheel of Time than there is Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
In what we've got.
Yeah, exactly. Now, going back to our original topic of the amount of viewer count that's actually involved in this show. What do you think? Where do you think the graph looks like? What do you think it just takes a nosedive after episode 1? When do you think it just falls to the floor, or do you think it does at all? I mean, they canceled. What's that news they just canceled?
Cowboy Bebop, right? So they've already canceled it after season 1, and that's Netflix is volunteering that information, right? So they obviously have abysmal numbers. Where are we at on Wheel of Time, do you think? I did a review on what was it? Hawkeye, where we started to get real data numbers from Disney Plus on viewership. Anyway, long story short, we can tell with Disney Plus because I think it's Simba TV reports those metrics. We should probably do an investigation to see if Amazon participates in that same viewership barometer.
I would bet that they will absolutely not. They have so much riding on Wheel of Time and trying to manipulate people into believing that it's actually doing really well.
In your opinion. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, totally opinion. Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't think the viewer numbers after episode 2 or maybe even 3 are what they had hoped. Honestly, what is the rewatchability of episode 1 going to be? Seriously.
Yeah, 0 in my opinion. I have friends, I have friends that are absolutely, they have no dog in this fight at all. They're book readers. They are not, they're probably a little bit left of center. They will just enjoy it as a show, a fantasy show. And they come out of nowhere on Facebook and say, what the hell am I even watching? It's the normies. It's the normies. When you lose the normies, when you have normies, first of all, having that kind of reaction, and second of all, taking an action to publicly vent that, I think that aligns with both your perspective and mine on this. I think after a certain episode, I keep saying episode 3 is when the bait and switch occurred, and that episode 4 was when it was full on. This is a con game. This is a platform. Forget pretending it's Wheel of Time. Yeah.
That's so fascinating.
My friend, he's a guy I talk to probably once every 5 or so years. We were really close when he lived here in California. He lives in Tennessee now, although he is moving to your area of the world. But anyways, episode 6 this is his response to me. Episode 6, awful. That's all he said.
And he's a normie. He doesn't have he doesn't follow this pop culture stuff and the culture war at all.
Nope.
We should actually probably wind this thing down a little bit because I have to go and grill some steaks because that's what I do here in Texas. It is fascinating. Look at this in real time. We have the skills. We have the technology. Yeah, they're disappearing. Let's say less than flattering commentary and headlines. And this thing went down pretty darn quick. When I did my original review from Variety Magazine, I did screen caps of the original article. The language in that, when I woke up the next morning and went back to those sites, those pages, was a lot less unflattering, in my opinion. And I didn't screen cap the new ones, but I kept the old ones because I was trying to go through, ripping my own video. And it was frustrating because I was like, what am I reading here? I couldn't do it live. I had to go back to the archive version. And sure enough, the archive version was brutal, So somebody somewhere, I don't know, in my opinion, probably picked up a phone and said, hey, you can't do that. There's too much riding on this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my theory. But again, without evidence, I just think that, there's so much riding on the Wheel of Time being successful that Amazon, they're spending so much money. I mean, initially there was 10 episodes per season and Rafe was told knock that down to 8. That doesn't bode well for me at all. I really think that there's got to be budgetary reasons. They're probably thinking, yeah, this is not going to make the money that we want it to make, which also explains why some of the episodes just seem butchered. I think they were trying to, if you're going to try to save time by cutting out scenes in the story, then don't fill them with the nonsense ceremony crap and the weird speeches and the things that have nothing to do with the story. Yeah. Hey,
OBG70 has a fantastic channel. Go check out.
It's new, guys. So get in on the ground floor.
Yeah, get in on the ground floor. He has some great content. I want to thank you for, you and I met on Twitter. We've been going back and forth. We wanted to do this for a while. I am so grateful for this. Next time we're going to do this on your channel, and I'll let you do all the work. I'll do all the work with this one today. Let's leave people with this. If I haven't seen episode 6, if you were going to give me one word to set an expectation for those who are going to watch episode 6 of The Wheel of Time on Amazon, what would that be?
Broken.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, the ending, especially, you're just like, wait, what? What?
All right. No more. Don't tell me anymore. Don't tell me anymore.
Well, we need to talk about episode 6 when you're done, because there is a big debate that happens regarding 2 of the characters. I don't want to get no hints at all, but there is a back and forth going on out there. Is this how it's supposed to be? Is it not how it's supposed to be? And so we'll have to talk about that. So it really depends on how you view that scene.
I am going to watch it. If not tonight, then tomorrow. I just want to thank everybody for, first of all, showing up, watching this pre-recorded live stream, because this is us essentially playing a little preseason football. Next time we go, we're going to go and actually play a live game. In that, you're going to see me boomer the hell out of things, just because I don't have any wrenches or anything else like that. So that's why we did it this way. Yes. I want to thank everybody who subscribed to my channel, for your comments, for watching this. And OBG, I'm going to let you take us out. Tell people about your channel, what you want them to know, and things like that.
Yeah, come check me out over there on YouTube, OBG70. I'm also on Twitter, although I hate Twitter, and it's bitten_8, number 8. And reach out to me and chat a bit. I'd love to hear from everybody. And thank you very much for having me on. It's been
my
a pleasure.
My
and
pleasure.
A lot of fun. I haven't done a live stream in quite a while. I do have other channels. I'm into astrophotography and astronomy. And I do have Broke Astronomer, which is my main YouTube channel. I do have over 1,000 subscribers over there, but I don't make content because the weather's been bad for like a year for me. I am not a stranger to doing live streams. I do a lot of them, but I am a stranger to doing any sort of a panel show. So even having someone else to talk about something with is a new experience for me. This will be my first time.
I think we did great. I think you and I don't think we got a participation trophy. I think we actually are going to buy each other around for this. This is fun.
This is good. Yeah, a lot of fun. And for all of you out there watching this, make sure you subscribe to Salty Texas. It's I've been really enjoying his videos.
Thank you.
His posts on Twitter have been like hilarious, and I feel like I'm bugging him when I say I love that post. You did such a great job. I love that video. You did so good.
It's nice. It's nice to have people making positive comments instead of calling me an incel or a misogynist. So you keep it up.
I haven't gotten those yet. The only person that's ever responded to me so far was somebody saying, "Hey, you know what? If you don't like it, then stop watching it."
Oh, I get that too. Yeah. Next time we're going to be talking about Wheel of Time episode 6. Thanks everybody for showing up. We will meet again soon. Everybody have a great night. Adios.
See ya. Bye.